information about who and what local governments are. I'd like to talk to you this morning about three great challenges facing our Commonwealth: solving the transportation crisis, maintaining our educational excellence, and emerging from the current economic recession. I believe, and I think you'll agree, that these challenges are so large and so critical to the jurisdictions we all represent that we as Virginians must set aside partisan differences and work together to find solutions. In that spirit, let me take a moment to congratulate our new governor, Governor Bob McDonnell. He ran an impressive campaign in which he promised to govern Virginia from the center and focus on solving problems. I trust he'll fulfill that promise. And if he does, I pledge to work with him proudly to address these great challenges of our Commonwealth. You all know that I come from Northern Virginia, and that I've spent my entire public life advocating for new revenue for roads and transit throughout the Commonwealth. The transportation crisis, I believe, is not just a Northern Virginia crisis or a Hampton Roads crisis. It's a crisis across the Commonwealth. It affects every one of us. Virginia's last real increase in transportation funding was in 1986. And as I like to say back home, that's even longer than the cicada cycle. Since then, the real value of those dollars has decreased because of inflation by 50%. More than 8,000 bridges in Virginia, many in rural communities represented in this room tonight, are structurally deficient. We have no new money, $0 for major highway, transit, or rail improvements in Virginia. Congestion and poor road conditions are costing Virginia drivers more than $1,000 a year. That's a hidden tax on every commuter in Virginia. VDOT's cut more than $3 billion with a B dollars from its 6-year plan, cutting hundreds of projects. And of course, this audience is fully aware of that. If Virginia fails to address this crisis, if we fail to put aside the partisan fights of the past, in just a few short years, we will become ineligible for all federal matching dollars for highways. That will be catastrophic for the citizens we serve. It will be catastrophic for the economy of Virginia and the ability to attract new investment. I supported the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act earlier this year, in part because it provided $800 billion in transportation funding, $800 million in transportation funding for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Right here in Bath, my own county has benefited, but right here in Bath County, $482,000 of money from that program has been used to repair the bridge at Trip Mill Creek. But stimulus funds are one time only, and they're not the final solution. Democrats and Republicans in Richmond have to develop a plan that offers new, dedicated, and reliable statewide funding for public transportation. On that note, let me provide each of you with a warning. If we don't, pressure will continue to build to raise money from your local school budgets, and you can't afford that. And that, my friends, is the road to perdition. If we remain frozen in the face of this transportation challenge, we will only make greater the next great challenge facing the Commonwealth, maintaining our educational excellence. For the first 100 years of the Republic, Virginia was an economic, educational, and political leader, the mother of states and the mother of statesmen. But for roughly 100 years thereafter, culminating in the 1950s, we fell behind. We remained mired in the past, failing to, among other things, throw off the shackles of segregation or to invest seriously in our educational system. Our per capita income was in the bottom half in the nation, and literacy rates were among the lowest. Today, 50 years later, Virginia is the national leader in the top 5, the best state in which to do business. Why is that? How is it that just in half a century, we've seen such economic success and such a turnaround? The answer is simple. Our commitment to education and education funding, working to ensure that every child in this Commonwealth has the opportunity to succeed. Each of you lives that commitment each and every day in your respective counties. That commitment is one of the reasons I was proud to support the Recovery Act earlier this year. Nationally, more than $53 billion was provided to the states as a pass-through to plug holes in local education budgets, which helped many to get through a very difficult budget year. In the 2 counties I represent in Congress, They received respectively $106 million and $60 million for their educational systems, critical money without which we either would have had to lay off teachers, double up on classrooms, or raise taxes. Here in Virginia, we received $1.3 billion totally from that bill for education in the Commonwealth. But again, it's one-time funding. One of the keys to Virginia's educational excellence has been our world-class system of public colleges and universities. Today, Virginia's public colleges face historic funding crises, with state funding for higher education reduced to just 20 to 30% of our overall costs, if that. The impacts of these cuts are wide-ranging. For example, higher tuition costs, increased class sizes, less opportunities for Virginians to attend their own public universities. The University of Virginia, where I have a particular interest this freshman year, is closing its public computer labs. Class sizes at George Mason and Virginia Tech are growing to accommodate the budget squeeze. As a Commonwealth, we've got to renew our commitment to public colleges. The jewel in the crown for Virginia is its public university system. It's what's created our economic success. Our capacity to address these two great challenges, transportation and education, will determine the success we'll achieve on the third, emerging from the current economic recession and maintaining our position as the best state for business. Under Governors Warner and Kane, Virginia became one of, if not the leading state in the nation for economic development. We've been named the best managed state in the nation, the best state in which to do business, and the state that gives the child the best opportunity to succeed. Number one, Virginia. Despite those accolades, the national recession has hit our Commonwealth hard. I know that many of you will return after this convention to communities facing unemployment rates of 10 and 20%. While there are some positive signs in the national economy, GDP growth finally was up in the last quarter, consumer confidence is on the rise, and we've regained some of the stock market losses seen over the last 2 years. Obviously, much remains to be done. Again, the Recovery Act has provided some relief, but in the years to come, the heavy lifting will be done by those of you in this room here this morning. Virginia has an opportunity to emerge from this recession, I think, stronger than ever, by maintaining a business-friendly climate with a relatively low tax burden and investing in the industries of the future like clean energy and biotech and information technology. We can replace the jobs we've lost. And especially I focus on places like Franklin County, which just suffered a terrible blow in the closing of that plant. But first and foremost, if you want to grow Virginia's economy, you've got to have the political will, the political courage to confront our immediate transportation crisis and our looming educational funding crisis. If we fail to do those two things, Virginia risks a return to that long-ago era where we abandon our rightful place as a leader among states. Make no mistake, confronting those challenges and finding workable solutions in today's partisan environment will be no easy feat. But I believe we can muster the political will to meet these challenges, and as in the past, the leadership and impetus and bipartisanship will rise up from the local level. Thank you for what each and every one of you does for our citizens in the 95 counties of Virginia. God bless you all. Thank you.